Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's ConnectALL Tech webinar. My name is Jonathan McGowan, and I'm a Senior Solutions Architect with ConnectALL. And I'm excited to kick off a new series for you today. We're going to be talking about a value stream. We're going to be talking about the capabilities of value stream management platforms. And we're going to kind of dive into that subject a little bit over the next few weeks. So keep an eye out on your inbox for not just next week's session, but for the following sessions as we go out for these next couple of months. Today we're going to talk about just the concepts of value stream and how you can get started with value stream. Though you're really already kind of doing it, and we'll dig into that a little bit as well. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I've got a few slides to share with you today. Okay. So again, let's dive right into this. And again, this is the first of our sessions that we have for digging into value stream. And today we're going to talk specifically about tool integration. But before we get too far down the path, let's go ahead and let's ask, what is value stream? We've all heard of things like we've heard of the agile transformations. We've heard of DevOps. We've heard of digital transformation in general. Seems like every week we've got something new, or as the years have gone on, we've have new terms coming out as we go along. Now we've got something called value stream. We want to kind of take a step back and look at things at the value stream level. Well, this isn't really a new concept necessarily. Even though it is getting a lot of buzz now, it's actually something you are already doing in your everyday life. Whether it's through software development or anything else, value stream is all around us. And really, the simplest way to define it is value stream is any process that produces value. Okay, it's any process that produces value. So let's actually dig into that a little bit. There's a blog post that my friend Tim Styling wrote for us a few months ago, and it really was very interesting to me, and I hadn't really thought about it this way before. But the way he describes it was that value stream is in our everyday lives, and the example that he goes through is he talks through his morning routine. And he talks about the ways that he can make his morning routine more efficient. So that's not anything related to software development. Now he does work for a software company, but he can step back and take a look at his morning processes and really determine where he can make things more efficient. So really, it can. The way that I like to explain it is that again, it's anything where the end result gives some value. Now that could be value to you as a customer. It could be value to you as a company, as a vendor, whatever. There's different value that different people get. It could be the value that a student earns whenever they're in school. The value that you earn just from taking a course. You start a course, you don't know anything. And then the value that you get from that course is not just the grade that you get at the end, but how much you've learned in that course, right? So there's different ways you can improve that process. If you go through and you don't do any studying or anything like that, then you're not going to get a lot of value out of the course. You're just going to kind of go through, and the grade that you get at the end is the grade you get. But you can do things to improve that value. You can study, you can join study groups, you can watch videos online, you can take supplemental courses to really improve your knowledge and your strength on this course. So that's a way that you can improve the value that you get out of it. And then you can improve the value of your grade at the end too. Whenever you're making lunch, if you think every day if we had to run to the store to get what we were going to eat for lunch, that's an extremely inefficient process. If I have to take time out of every single day to go to the store to buy my lunch and then come home and then make my lunch, that's not a very efficient process. I can make that process more efficient by doing all of my grocery shopping for the week on one day. And by just spending, maybe 15, 20 more minutes at the grocery store getting all of my groceries for the week, now I've improved that process. I don't have to spend hours going back and forth to the store every day. So little simple things like that that are really improving the value that we get out of everyday activities. And again, you're already doing it. It's really just taking a step back and looking and seeing where things could be better. And of course, then that also goes into software development as well. We can take a look at the processes that we have in software development, how we plan things, how things get developed, how things get built and deployed, and then how we maintain them afterwards. There's lots of different pieces to that process. No matter how big or how small the process is, there is still a value stream that we're doing naturally. We start out whenever we're a brand new company, we have a value stream, and then as we expand and add tools very naturally, as additional teams come in and additional processes get added, more and more things are added to that overall value stream. And so that value stream grows, and we can end up with some inefficiencies just to make things work. We can end up with some process debt as we go along, that we maybe need to address. And that's okay. Like I said, that's perfectly natural. It's a very human process. It's a very human process of of doing things and growing. But eventually, we do need to kind of take a step back and say, all right, where can I improve this? Where can I make these things better? And so that's really the goal of this this webinar series, is to really dive into each of those different areas and see where we can improve our value stream. So let's talk about ConnectALL a little bit. And what I'm going to show you today is a demonstration of how we can use integration, which is one of the qualifications, or one of the qualities of value stream management. So what we can do here is we'll talk about things like flow metrics, we'll talk about integration, we'll talk about workflow orchestration, we're going to talk about governance, all these different topics. And we're going to talk about how ConnectALL can get into your value stream and help you with improving the different parts of your value stream. We're all about seeing and measuring and automating this value stream. Seeing it, of course, is the first step in identifying your value stream, seeing all the different tools, seeing all the different processes laid out there in front of you. We can do that with our visualizer, which you'll see in a moment. Then, of course, integration, integrating different applications, which is our focus of today. And then we'll talk about value stream insights in a future session as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop over to ConnectALL. And the story that I've got to tell you today is just a story between ServiceNow and Azure DevOps. And so what you can see now on my screen is I've got our ConnectALL dashboard pulled up, and you can see that I've got a connection established between ServiceNow and Azure DevOps. And the story here is that we have incidents coming in to ServiceNow. Everybody in my company has access to ServiceNow. They can put in incidents anywhere from I can't reset my password to I need a new VM to the app won't take payment, okay? Or really anything, any problem that comes up within the company can be added as an incident to ServiceNow. So then we've got a level 1 team who's going through and triaging these incidents. They're saying, okay, I can fix this, I can fix this, I can fix this. We've got all this stuff in our knowledge base. And so let me take all these different things and try all these different approaches to solving these problems. But we do have a few other problems that can't be resolved through our level 1 or even level 2 processes. So we need to escalate those things over to my development team. And they're all working over in Azure DevOps. So that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to talk about that process and talk about how we can kind of remove the waste in our value stream by integrating those two things using tool integration. So let's hop over here now to ServiceNow, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new incident over here. Just fill out some of these basic things over here. Let's going to say, kind of going along with our lunch theme earlier, let's say that the toaster did not toast my sandwich. And please forgive me if you have not eaten yet today. I've got my lunch waiting on me right now, so maybe that's a little bit on my mind right now. Let's go ahead and say something like the oven never heated up. Okay. Now, since I do have lunch waiting on me, let's go ahead and say that this is a high priority. It's critical. We want to solve this uh, pretty much immediately. We can go in here, and we can add an attachment, maybe something like a screenshot. Just take any old file there, and then we'll go ahead and submit that. Oops. And there's one very important thing that I forgot to do whenever I did this. Let's come in, let's pull up that incident again, find it here at the top. I forgot to apply the governance here, okay? So I wanna make sure that this goes to my software group. So let's go ahead and update that now. All right, so what we've got now is if I come in here and let's go ahead and take a look at our software incidents. Sure enough, you can see this one up here at the top that says the toaster did not toast my sandwich. And I don't have to do anything else over here in ConnectALL. What I've done is I've, as anybody in the company, I've come in here and put in a new incident. Somebody has triaged it. They've said, okay, we've tried to resolve this, but ultimately we think this needs a fix. So let's go ahead and escalate this over to our software team working in Azure DevOps. So let's now come over to Azure DevOps and let's see if it's over here yet. Here we go. You can see that it says the toaster did not toast my sandwich. Let's take a closer look at this. We can see some of the details here. We can see the repro steps. The oven never heated up. We can see some things like the priority was set to number 1. That's my highest priority. If I'd like to, I have a link that goes back to Azure DevOps and, back to ServiceNow. I can click on that link and it goes directly there to the incident. And I can see the attachment over here too, some of that context that I may need here. So now, as I'm working over here in Azure DevOps, let me change hats for a moment. Let's go ahead and say that I'm going to go ahead and move this to active. And I'll make a comment on here too. We're going to say, I'll look into this immediately. Just so happens that I, as the developer, I'm also waiting on lunch, and I know that this person is in front of me, and so I want to go ahead and resolve that toaster issue immediately so that I can get my lunch too. So let's come back over here to ConnectALL, and what we'll see here in just a moment, again, without any further interaction from anybody in Azure DevOps, what we'll see is ConnectALL is polling both applications. So it actually earlier it asked ServiceNow for any new changes, any new incidents, and ConnectALL then synchronized it over to Azure DevOps. Now that we've made a change, now that progress has started over there in Azure DevOps, that change is now being synchronized back to ServiceNow. So if we go back to ServiceNow and let's go ahead and open up our issue, we can see a couple of things have happened over here. I can see that my status is moved in progress. Then I can see the comment that was made down here as well. You notice that we've got a comment, and it also has the author embedded right there in the comment too. So now what we've done is we've unified this part of the process. Rather than me having to pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, can you go fix the toaster? Or maybe rather than me having to have another weekly meeting, waiting to the weekly meeting to say, yeah, the toaster broke last Friday. I've been without lunch for 3 days now. We can get this pushed over into the backlog. Somebody can begin working on it, and we can get immediate feedback. So what we've done here is by integrating these two applications, by utilizing the tool integration part of value stream management, we've cut out the waste between those applications and enhanced the collaboration between them. We can make comments back and forth. We can see who's commenting, and we get these status updates right here within our tool of choice without having to go to email or any sort of external application. So that's the general idea today. If you've been to our other webinars, I know that looks a little bit familiar, but that is really the first, a very common approach, of course, and a very common thing of trying to remove the waste in your value stream is doing this part. There's a lot of other different things that go along with this, again, that we'll talk about as we go along in the series. But um, we will talk about now measuring your value stream, for example. Here today, you can see the value stream, and you can automate the value stream between these two applications. We'll talk about some other things like orchestrating different things in the value stream. We'll talk about measuring the value stream through insights and many other exciting topics, not just about integration, but about many other areas as well. All right, so that's really it for the presentation that I had. Again, I wanted to show you just an example of value stream. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about value stream and how it may be easier than you think it is. Just because it's a new term doesn't mean it's something you're not already doing. Again, it's everywhere. It's in our everyday lives. I highly encourage you to go read that blog that I posted earlier. Again, as we're looking and as we're trying to improve these processes, the first step is to lay it out on something visual, like you saw a moment ago. Even if you look at Tim's blog, that's the first thing he did, is he laid out his value stream before he could then determine which things could be improved. So that's really the first step, is that seeing that value stream, and then you can start to measure the different parts of the process, and then decide what you want to automate and what you want to improve. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the question box. We'll give it a few more minutes before we close the session. But I will say I hope you enjoyed today's session, and it's something I'm very excited about. I love process improvement, and I love getting in there and seeing how things can be improved. I'm a very repetitive kind of person. I like my rituals and my my routines, I suppose, and I love trying to find different ways to make those things faster and try to remove the waste from those things. So I hope you're excited about seeing more of this series than I am about being involved in it. We do have one question here that says, is it possible to add other applications that the company uses to the value stream so I can see additional steps? Yes, absolutely it is. And we'll talk about that as we go along too. And if you continue to watch this webinar, you'll see that more and more applications will be added to our value stream. One thing that I didn't show, but we do have a value stream visualizer, and we can actually go in and edit that flow that you saw, and we can add additional applications to it. We can draw additional lines in there. We can see how all these different things are connected. And again, that really is the first step. You could do that right there in ConnectALL. We do have another question that says, what are typical metrics and measurements we have in value stream? Okay, so we'll have a session on that a little bit later, so I don't want to steal any of CJ's thunder. But we do have metrics such as flow metrics are very popular these days. Of course, wanting to see things like cycle time and lead time. And we'll be able to take a tool agnostic approach to those sorts of things so that you can see those as we go along. But again, I don't want to steal too much of CJ's thunder, but by synchronizing all these different applications or working with all these different applications, ConnectALL does allow you to get those insights into various metrics as well. We'll give it just another moment, see if we have any other questions. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then that's all we have for today. Again, I appreciate you joining us today. Really enjoy it. Again, I'm excited to continue along with this and to dig a little bit deeper into other topics and other areas. So absolutely join us. Go ahead and follow us. Follow us on LinkedIn. Follow us on Twitter. All those other good places, and reach out to us for your value stream needs. You can email us at sales@connectall.com if you have any questions. We do have one question that's come in at the last moment that does say, is it easy to set up an integration between multiple tools? Yes, absolutely. And again, that's something we can show in the visualizer, and you'll see that as we go along in the series, we're going to continue adding more and more and more to this stack, and you'll see that we can integrate with all these other different applications simultaneously. So yeah, that's definitely something we intend to cover within this webinar series. All right, and with that, I believe that is all the questions that I see so far. So all right. Well, happy Friday, everybody. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're excited to see a little bit more. And we will see you next time.